We better get the 2025, 6:30 p.m. We're in the conference room. Those are Natural Foods for the co-op, and this is our monthly board meeting. Welcome everybody to the board meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of time. There are a few modifications, a few board members absent, so we will go ahead and get started. Yeah, I think the mics are on, are they not? Look like they're on. They do like that. Are they moving up and down?
Yeah.
So.
Is Emery
Your light says when you talk it does? Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Can we double check? Well, maybe, why don't you pull up the people that are here, see if Kim can hear us.
There is nobody in.
Oh, there isn't?
No, nobody's there to prove it for us.
That's awesome.
As far as showing it on the screen up there, our
It is showing it, but.
seems to be registering volume, but if you feel like these are supposed to be doing something different, I'm not quite sure what we're on here.
That just came out.
This has to be.
Oh, yeah, that might have been what it was.
Okay, there we go.
Yep,
I think we
that's
got
what
it.
it's supposed to be.
Cheers.
Oh, there's the color you were saying.
Yes.
Thank you,
Good
Nick.
together for Nick. Thank you.
Good to have me.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Randy Wilburn. I'm the current board president of Ozark Natural Foods. So excited to welcome you all here, staff, members of the co-op, prospective board members, and just everybody that's in the room tonight. So thank you guys so much for being here. Want to call this meeting to order, and I'd like to ask somebody to read the end statement, which I've conveniently put right at the top.
Hold on. I can read it.
Okay, please.
Ozark Natural Foods is the heart of Northwest Arkansas, where a well-nourished community empowered through cooperation has a thriving ecosystem of local suppliers, a place staff, members, and customers want to be, an incubator of ownership, talent development, and leadership, food security and environmental stewardship, and a growing, healthy, transparent business.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Okay. So real quickly, I'm just going to review the agenda for tonight. We're going to have member comments. We allot 15 minutes for member comments, 2 minutes per member for comments to the board. Whatever comments go unused, or if we only, like last month, I think, I think Pat shared one thing and that was it. It's really something glowing about the co-op and how things are running, but we'll yield that time back to the board so that we can move on with the meeting. We'll have a consent agenda, and that's just approving the minutes from the last meeting. And so the board gets those minutes every month and we get a chance to review them. And then once we review them, then we'll go ahead and take a look and approve them. Once they're approved, then we'll put the minutes up on the website at Ozark Natural Foods. We also have floor reports tonight. We have a guest, a good friend of mine, Michael Kraus, from Green Sports Initiatives. And Michael's working on some really cool things. And one of the goals that the board had was to really try to connect with different people in the community that are doing different things in different ways to really make a difference in this world. And Michael is one of those people. He's somebody that I connected with when he was at Food Loops. He's been on my podcast. He's given me eggs before in the middle of the pandemic. I don't know what else I could say about him. I could say a lot, but he's a good dude, and I'm excited to have him here tonight. You'll hear from me quickly. I've got a small, short president's report, and then I will yield my time to Dennis. And then we also have a CCMA recap, which Kim, Jacob, and Megan will share with us and kind of give us an update on their first time going to CCMA and what that experience was like. So I look forward to hearing that. And then, of course, Dennis is going to share his GM report. And this is a special one because this is Dennis sharing his report based on the new reporting process that he's following, which everybody really likes. And we'll talk more about that later. So anyway, decisions, we will as a board just vote on B6. That it was presented to us appropriately and that we got it in a timely manner. And then we have 3 reports, one of which I will give because Dr. Denny is out tonight, who's the head of the member outreach committee. We have perpetuation committee, so we'll hear from Ken, and I'll probably have Ken once again reintroduce those that are here tonight that are actually running for the board. And then policy committee, Joshua's not here for that. But I can kind of give you guys an update on what we talked about. But Nick and I and Dennis were all on that call when we had our last policy meeting. And all the committees meet once a month at various times throughout the month. We're gonna have a discussion tonight about articles, bylaws, and board compensation planning. And all this really is me sharing what the plan is for us to get our articles and our bylaws fully formed and verified. And we are doing a lot of work with the law group with Casey Tucker. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that and kind of what the schedule is for us to both vote on it as a board, present it to the members, and then have the members vote on it in September 14th, which is the AMM, the actual business meeting. But we're gonna have several other events around that September 14th weekend, and Ken will talk a little bit more about that. Our board policies are C2, accountability of the GM, C3, delegation to the GM. We'll just review those policies, and then I'll review the meeting decisions and assignments, and then I'll go over the agenda for next month. So we're always thinking forward and ahead. So without further ado, to my right, I'll just go ahead and Danielle, why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll go around the table.
Hi, I'm Danielle Hoffman. I'm the board vice president.
I'm Nick Parson, the secretary and treasurer.
Jacob, board member.
Megan Knutson, board member.
Anna McNair, board member.
Alicia Powell, director of operations.
Marley Brown, operations manager admin.
And board liaison. So,
Liaison.
yeah, that's right. Don't forget that. We got
Thank you,
multiple
Rich.
titles here.
I'm Dennis, I'm the general manager.
Awesome. Why don't you go ahead?
I'm Rick, the grocery manager.
Yes, thank you.
I am Tyler, the newly founded Thunder fanboy.
LA got food bonus and hostess department.
Hey.
Pat Tran, member. You
Trent, man, many hats.
And the man with all the answers in wellness.
Yes.
Diane Ferguson, a long time member.
Yes. So glad to have you.
Michael Kraus, also an owner and presenting later.
Yeah.
And these are my children, Harry and Son.
All right.
Yes.
Who will not be presenting.
That's okay. That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm Paige. I am a board member candidate.
Okay.
I'm Ariel, and I'm also a board member candidate.
Okay, great.
I'm Stephanie Conway, I'm the board trial.
Yes.
Carrie McMahon, board candidate.
Aid of facilities, among other things.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for being here. We've got an exciting meeting planned.
Sweet.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. The next thing we'll go ahead and do is, we have a few members in the room, so I want to open up the floor for member comments. If any member would like to take a few minutes to share something that we're open to hearing. So Diane, Pat, anyone has a comment, please?
I still am very fond of the weekend hop-up, very.
Okay.
Getting the fruits and vegetables that are.
Yeah, you guys were here when they had the event, and there was a lot of vendors here, so.
Yes, that was really good. I know that one. I was thinking about saying that. I really like when they have vendors here giving out goodies, because then I know if I want to buy it or not.
A taste test is always a good thing, so, yes, and we had several vendors I bought some things because they were there, so it worked out perfectly, so, yeah. Well, thank you so much, so.
Sure. Usually I have lots of real positive little props for everybody. And today I would like to speak to the board about some concerns I've had in reviewing the information on the website. I asked at the last meeting about the bylaws. I was told that they were up to date. And then I went back and was rereading those and I'm rereading some of the policies. And I have some concerns. Number one, that it didn't seem like what was posted when I looked at it after the meeting last month, that those were current. It doesn't, it feels like, in looking at what's posted on the website, that there's not transparency about what decisions the board has to make. I also was looking back at minutes from last year and this year, and it seems like there are the minutes kind of follow a format, but minutes don't reflect what members are present. It reflects the board members, it reflects the staff, but not member comments, not member participants in the meeting. And so I wanted to draw that to your attention. Also, a couple of things that I know you as a board have been discussing has been the board compensation. And I understand that there was compensation last year, but which was a change from what had been the standard policy. And that was not presented to the membership. And so there are real transparency issues that I'm concerned with, how the actions and decisions of the board are being represented to the membership, and how those things are being reported and made available to the membership. Another thing I am, as wonderful as the old guard of this board has been, one of the things I noticed and you brought this to my attention at the last board meeting, when I told you I was sad you were leaving, and you said something about, I've been here a long time. It's time for me to move on. And so I would like the board to consider term limits and, having a certain number of consecutive terms to serve, and then having to roll off for at least one term, or for whatever length of time the board deems appropriate, and then to step back in. I think that helps I understand the need for continuity with multiple terms, but then if there's a point where leadership is not developed because the same people are in that upper echelon, and so, number of consecutive terms, both for membership and as I think in most organizations I've been involved in with officers as well. How many times how many times should someone serve in the same position as an officer? And this is not, you guys, I know you both a lot of you have been officers for many years and have served the board well in those roles. But I think this is really an important thing to be considered and perhaps brought to our membership to consider. I know there's an avenue for us as members to bring that, but I don't, that feels very subversive rather than bringing it to you guys and something you guys might want to discuss. And I guess the other thing is how I, as a member, can view the physical copies of our historical records, our board amendment minutes, and this might be in your venue, the physical copies of our minutes. I know they get posted, but there should be a physical copy, and then the historical documents on our bylaws and amendments dated and when they happen.
Yeah.
And how those are jiving with the meeting minutes. And that may be something that that you all are working on, as you said, trying to get those things lined up. But it's a concern to me that has not been looked after and taken care of.
When you say physical, do you mean hard copy or digital?
Yeah, physical.
Like a printed version?
Yeah, there should be a
Okay.
physical copy of, we're a long-running organization, and we should have physical copy that are signed off by whoever is serving the secretary role. And same with our minutes, those should all be approved by the secretary before they're presented to the board for approval. As I've read them, I see big pieces missing of the discussions that I've listened to that aren't reflected in our minutes that, I think are important if members are reading those, which I am, and paying attention, that if that needs to be fleshed out a little more. to represent the transparency that I know our board wants to work on and present out to our membership. And I think it's also a way for membership engagement to, you know, feel like they're being better informed. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Oh, I'll just chime in on the minutes. Because when I started taking the minutes, I was trained by the board at a meeting. And so it does follow a template, but for official minutes, they're not to be like overly detailed and include every spoken word in detail. It's strictly to capture like what topics were discussed and more specifically what was voted on. So it doesn't have a lot of fluff in it. So you can go back, 10, 15, 20 years and kind of get through it and see without having to read a bunch of stuff, if that's helpful at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
That's-
second minutes. I understand how minutes are supposed to be represented.
Yeah, and I think part of it is simply that in this age of, I'm going to use air quotes only once tonight, of technology that we're in, I think we have become overly reliant on all the other ways that we're capturing this information, and where we make assumptions that, oh, well, if Pat wants to know what happened in this meeting, she can go back and actually listen to the Zoom meeting, right? Where I don't know if you can say that about a meeting that took place in 2001. And I think that's part of the challenge there with regard to that. We have had that conversation. I've had this conversation multiple times and was told very clearly to keep the minutes brief because it's almost impossible for us to capture every moment in the meeting outside of the things that we vote on and subject matters that do come up that require additional conversation. And so that's been kind of, since I've been on the board, which is 6 years now, that's been what I've experienced. And of course, I've asked Joshua and others that have been here for much longer, who know where all the bodies are buried, that's been what they have shared with me. But I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think if anything, in this day and age, with the technology that we do have at our disposal, there are ways to get additional information. Like I think, we could easily maybe get a copy of the transcript. And then you wouldn't have missed a word. And that would be, that to me is like maybe one way. And I'm not trying to solve anything that you said tonight by my comments here. I'm just stating what we've kind of dealt with around that. And so we are certainly aware of that challenge that some people have brought up with regard to our minutes. And I'm sure there's a way for us to figure out a better way to improve it. And the only other thing I will add to what you asked about our bylaws and all that, they are a bit of a mess. Perfect transparency. We have had a lot of information that's been missing that none of us can find. I can't find stuff dating before my time that we need. And so we're in the process of hunting all that down and rebuilding what we have access to. Now, it's my understanding that there were some documents that were lost a while ago that have never been found, which, I mean, again, what do you do about that? So we're trying to kind of piece that together. But right now, I can tell you unequivocally that our goal is to memorialize the bylaws that we have standing right now. And there are some inconsistencies only because they just have the wrong version online. And we're trying to correct that so that we put the proper version out, which is the version that we're going to get that the board is going to agree to is the current version for right now that we would like the members to agree to in our AMM in September. And in that will be clarifications on several votes that have taken place dating back as far back as 2018. And unfortunately, we just got notification and this is a long answer, that there is documentation that we don't have access to because our former vendor destroyed all of our documents. So we can't even provide voting records from 2007 until 2017. So we're trying to, we're trying to figure out how we can piece together everything. And then whatever needs to be codified with the state, we're doing that. And then everything that we need to do to make everyone aware. So I don't think it's a lack of transparency as much as it is stuff was just lost. And we're trying to pick up all those pieces and then present it to everybody. so that you can see, oh, okay, I see, here was everything that was voted on, here's why we don't have X, Y, and Z, and then we can kind of go from there.
That would be great.
Yeah,
For
and,
everybody to be able to,
gotcha.
you know, view it, review it,
Right,
have, you know, someone else, you know, who remembers something that was done or said during this 10 years.
yeah, and we've been trying to do that, I mean, just for clarification, we have been, trying to go back in old email documents to look at that and the transactions that happened in 2012, 2011. And so because we do still have some board members that are here, again, and that's all part of it. So some of it is just how we codify that information, because email is still technically a new thing. I know it's 2025, but it's new enough to where if an organization does not have a standard plan for how they archive electronic data, then, you know, if somebody comes off the board and then all those emails that they had in their account aren't properly stored, then you run into a problem. And so those are some of the things that we're trying to correct now. And we still have access to certain data, electronic data, ones and zeros, that we can then try to look through and search and get the rest of the information and put those pieces together. So it is a big job, but what I'm trying to communicate to you and everybody in the room is it's not for lack of trying, and that we are fully aware that there are huge holes that we need to try to correct. So we're working on that right now. And our goal is to have something working that we can all look to in September, that you can agree that, okay, we're gonna vote on this. If everybody accepts this, then this is what we're gonna use moving forward. And then we'll continue to do whatever we need to do to verify anything else or any other data points that we can find that we can then verify. So that's kind of where we are. Yeah, so, but thank you for all those points. And, you know, with the whole thing with term limits, outside of this board, if you can convince them in Washington to consider term limits, I think that would be the first place to start.
You know,
That was good.
I haven't talked
That was good.
talked that long, and talked for years.
No, that was good.
No, it's a good way.
I think it's best practices on the
Yeah.
board.
You know, and I was having a conversation, I didn't mean to cut you off, I was having a conversation with the attorney, and one of the issues that we were talking about with regard, and it wasn't so much term limits, it was just institutional knowledge. Like, if Joshua wasn't on this board right now and not here, we would have some challenges. And it shouldn't be that one person is the bottleneck for an organization the size of the co-op with 13,000 members.
But again, I think if that historical information is not passed on
Yeah,
through new board members, so, you know, I mean, there is kind of that entrenchment that allows that a person or some people to carry all that historical knowledge, and so that doesn't build the leadership, and it
Yeah.
doesn't pass on to the next generations. And that's where you end up with 10 years of data missing
Yeah.
or whatever, you
Yeah.
know. I think that's a good argument for why we should consider term limits, so that someone isn't that entrenched that they're the only one that has that. So, you know, our board should all be learning how a cooperative should be run, and should all be learning how a board should operate. And, you know, rather than just being sheep following the leaders who've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
I just think that's a healthy board and healthy board development.
Yeah.
Work towards that goal.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, so is anybody else, is there another member that has?
Well, I would like to say something.
Sure.
It's just in that, I have read through the bylaw with Mark, and I just support the conversation you just had with Pat, because I think there needs to be more transparency, you know, and letting, like, I'm sure a lot of members don't understand that there's a board stipend. But I also come from the nonprofit background where there are term limits on board members, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Huh? We're trying to go back, well, we were trying to go back to 2007.
Yeah.
And what we were trying to do is reconcile each year's voting. And so we're not as concerned about who was elected. We're more concerned with what was passed, what actually happened. That's the thing that we're looking at right now. So, and unfortunately, as to what I said earlier about the company, they destroyed our data for 10 years.
Do you have information before that, Randy? Just out of curiosity. I mean, we've been around since
We do, yeah, we have a lot of information. We're trying to fill in the blanks that we don't have.
Just don't have.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
problem.
okay.
So yeah, KC has found everything, but there was a lot of information and then there was a cliff. And that's what we're trying to build in that, we're trying to build that back up, so, yeah. Yeah, well, I know you guys do, so, and we'll talk more about that, but no, I mean, I totally hear what you guys are saying, and certainly we are going to spend time talking about that and figuring out ways that we can, make that accessible to everybody. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, all right, so if there are no other member comments, we're gonna go ahead and approve the minutes for May 27th, 2025.
So moved.
So moved. Can I get all in favor of approving the minutes from May 27th, 2025? You guys got it on time? You're able to read it, review it? Did you have any questions about anything? Okay. Kim? I'm sorry, Kim. Can you introduce you? Are you able to talk, Kim? I know Kim broke her nose. So that's why she's not here, and that's why she's not showing herself. So if you can't really talk, you can just.
I am here. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to know if you got a chance to review the minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so then, and we have 2 board members absent. And so we'll go from there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ayes and 2 absent. So consent agenda has been approved. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with our floor reports. And we like to bring anybody that we bring in as a guest, we like to let them go first so that they don't have to stay here the whole time. So Michael, we really appreciate you coming. And Michael's also a friend of Megan. Megan had thought about inviting Michael, and I had thought about Michael too, but this is really Megan's guest. I just like Michael a lot, so I'm glad he's here. But Megan, if you want to just introduce Michael again, and we can go ahead and let Michael come up and share.
Yeah, so Michael worked at Food Loops for a while, now he works at Cooking Sports Initiative. I thought of as a really powerful leader with the sustainability movement, so it's just kind of the direction I was hoping he could kind of speak to.
Okay. So Michael. He's got his hands full.
And his sweet kids, Harry and Sunny.
This is not evidence of all the things we drank this evening, I promise. Well, I guess I'll try to be like corner pocket here. Yeah. But yeah, hello, I'm Michael Krause. You can call me 26044. We've been member owners, I really don't know, 14 years or so. Probably since like midway through college. I don't know. It's been a minute. But so I was formerly with a company called Food Loops. You have used Food Loops as the food waste hauler at one point here, and we provide, I don't know if we still do, I'm not with them, but a lot of compostable packaging. When the movement to this building was, thank you. You just said don't say I'm nervous.
My man.
He makes me nervous.
In the microphone.
So one of the things that was a focus for us when I was at Food Loops was circularity. I've been working on circularity on zero waste for about a decade now. I left Food Loops a little over 3 years ago, and I'm with a company called Greek Sports Alliance. We are a national nonprofit that focuses on sustainability in sports. So I mostly work with major stadiums and arenas across the nation right now. A little different from grocery stores, but as Megan and I were talking, we were sharing what are some of the things that translate really, really well between what I do, which is in LA last year, Miami a couple months ago, going into a market, understanding what they can recycle, what they can compost, please stop. I know. What they can compost, what they can recycle, what is available within their market, and apply that to their procurement plans, apply that to their operations plan, and then something that's very near and dear to us at the Green Sports Alliance is fan engagement. So we're doing a lot within these venues, could be waste, energy, water, whatever it is, which is amazing. In big places, we should be responsible, similar to this. But the responsibility of a venue, we think, our philosophy, is if it doesn't translate to the fan and it doesn't go home, it's not nearly as impactful because the microphone sports has is a huge microphone. So something that Megan and I talked about was, it's not too dissimilar here. You guys have, I don't want to say a cult following like a sports team has, but people are very loyal to Ozark Natural Foods, much like somebody might be to a sports team, right? They show up when times are good, they show up when times are bad. They're investing money in something that they find very important. They often wear the colors and the merch, and there's quite a bit of similarities here. So I think it's applicable, at least some pieces of it. I am not going to dive into like, this is a #1 plastic. We can talk about that, but I did want to bring up just some of the things in your store that were in the right place. I found today in the recycling and the compost, and we did pull these out. I told you not to lick them, so. But there are some things too that could be improved, right? There's opportunities within the store from a sustainability standpoint. And I'm still in my intro, but the last thing I will kind of intro is the reason I got here, the reason that we are members, of course for the local food, of course for the interaction with friends, and the community space is really, really strong, better than I think the previous location. And the sustainability aspect, right? We shop bulk food. We are annoying to the cashiers and we're doing the tear weights, all those type of things. But I also think there's some low-hanging fruits that are available to ONF for incremental improvements. So I'll talk about a little bit of that. But what I do want to kind of like set our minds on is how when I'm consulting with a venue, like I said, the first thing we do is what we call a regional infrastructure vetting. We used to call this, I'll be amazed if anyone in this room gets it, but I'm going to say the joke anyways. We used to call it local infrastructure vetting, LIV, but we worked with the PGA. Okay, I'll stop. Get out of here. So we call regional infrastructure vetting. Within Fayetteville, we know the recycling and we know the composting very well. We are super fortunate in Fayetteville to have one of the most transparent recycling infrastructures there is in terms of, like I said, I've done this all over the nation, check this out. And they will, you can go to the MRF. I've been to maybe 25 MRFs, I've been to maybe 15 compost facilities. You can see what they're doing, and they will not tell you if they're selling the bale, they will tell you where that bale is going, what it's turned into. City of Fayetteville, you can track bales. So if this aluminum gets turned into City of Fayetteville, the way it gets turned into a big bale, they smush it all together, they'll tell you how much they paid for it, which is abnormal, right? We have a very fortunate situation living here. What is available at curbside at your houses if you live in Fayetteville is the same thing that is available here at Ozark Natural Foods, which is not always the same. Commercial and residential is often different. So there's the opportunity, and much like I do with sports stadiums, if what is available in Chicago is what the Cubs should be doing. Is that what they're always doing? Maybe not, but we're trying to marry those two. So if you go to a Cubs game, you're simultaneously, whatever cup you're using, you're going to put that in a recycle bin there with good signage. That should be the same thing you get to do at home. So you're not doing two different things. It's not always the case. There's two different haulers, there's different markets for things, and one might be throwing it away. In Fayetteville, and I don't know your demographics of how many owners and members are from Fayetteville, but probably a couple. In Fayetteville, we have that continuity between what residential and commercially we can do. which is really nice in terms of what ONF can do, and what you guys do. I know the recycling bins, I know the compost bins, the same thing that residents have access to. So there's an opportunity to dive into that piece of leadership, and you, I'm not saying you don't, you do a fantastic job. It's written on the wall, there's good signage and things. There's an elevation potentially for some of these. But in the city of Fayetteville, we have good, transparent recycling, but not broad recycling, which is important. You cannot recycle everything. This is called a blow-form plastic. A thermoform plastic is something like this, this type of shape, what a lot of the, I don't know, the cold products are out there in. Number one plastic, they're made the same thing. You can recycle this, you can't recycle this, right? So when I was with Food Loops, and I'm not advocating, I'm impartial at this point, but with Food Loops, we made some of those switches to those containers that were compostable. The idea being, you cannot recycle this, but if it was in a compostable product, you could compost it. And then it became, how do we tell that story? How do we get that story to the consumer, which is difficult, but it was a circulating play, right? And if it has a bunch of food in it, especially, even if City of Fayetteville did take it, they would accept that. So aligning some of what is available within the market, within the region, could be a great next step for some of, if you were looking for those incremental gains to align with membership. The other piece too, and I think what we always tell venues is, clean up in-house first, right? If you're not composting back at house, do it. You guys are. If you guys are not recycling back at house, have everyone on board, cardboard, everything. So I think you guys are, I assume you guys are. But that would be, hey, how do we get our house in order? And then telling that story, and that storytelling piece is really, really key. I have like a lot on here, so I'm gonna skip most of it, but I'll go to pretty low-hanging fruit. I'll go with the harder, higher fruit, and then I'll go low-hanging fruit. One of my personal passions right now is reuse, and there's a reuse movement. In California, there's a place called Petaluma. They did the Petaluma Reuse Project this year, in which they got all the big guys. They got, I won't say them, but Walmart, I did say it, Walmart, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, the fast food restaurants, all those guys to adopt the same reusable products. They put reuse around the whole town and they went for it. And they had pretty good results. They stopped it, there was a test, but that was the big dogs. The big dogs have big problems. What I love about Ozark Natural Foods is the ability to, like I was saying, that local infrastructure, and the ability to maybe respond to what Fayetteville can do. And we, in the bulk section, we use a lot, spend way too much money over there. But I think there's the opportunity to make it even easier, right? How do we make that moment of getting tear weights simpler, of getting more reusable bags or containers available, and really hyping that up. But I think it's a huge benefit of Ozark Natural Food that could be applied broadly. And then I'll go to just low-hanging fruit. And this one feels low, maybe it's controversial, but it's getting rid of bags, right? Bags are wonderful. I love a good bag, right? But they have a carbon footprint. They have a physical footprint from a waste and recycling standpoint. So there's an opportunity, and there's that opportunity cost between, I know the debate between a compostable bag, a paper bag, a plastic bag, carbon, or what is our value, what are we concerned about? And then there's the solution of, maybe we just get rid of it. As a member, would totally support it, and if I had to pay a fee per bag or something like that, I would suck it up. And it changes behavior, right? If you have to pay for it, there would be behavior change for sure. And then going back to getting the house in order, your house is likely very much in order, right? You guys probably do incredible things. Quantify, meaning, are you tracking it? Is there a baseline? Do you know your tonnage? Is the food waste hauler sending you monthly and saying, hey, we divert 3 tons of waste? What's the recycler saying? Are they sending you anything saying we're diverting 1 ton? Because a part of your storytelling is, hey, we at Ozark Natural Foods have a 68% diversion rate. I made that up, could be, you got a 94% diversion rate, right? This is something where you can set a baseline, and a baseline allows you to set the goal, and then you strive to reach that goal, and you tell that story, and you become a leader in the community, and you push people at home to do the same. We don't admittedly have a baseline at home, but you know, I think it would be a good step. I'm gonna stop there. And if you want to read more, we'll go through it later, but I don't know if there's any questions, or I just want to, Randy gave me the 2 minutes, and I want to make sure there's at least an opportunity for Q&A, so.
What reusable container would you recommend that we don't have?
I don't know, that's a good question. I would love to get back to you on that. I'd love to go
Like
see.
glass or?
Yeah, there's a lot of pilots out there, and so I may not be the expert on it to answer that, but there are folks closer to that, within the region even, that can help with that answer, but I would love to maybe have the opportunity to get back. Yeah.
The board member have a question?
Like, it was really thorough, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's pretty cool in the sports arenas, because there's so much.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
Disgusting.
Do you, I mean, are you at Ridgeback Stadium?
I've tried, and no,
Okay.
we're not there. Do you have any ins?
No.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. The LA Clippers new arena,
Yeah,
that's supposed to be kind of the beacon of hope for what the future
Yeah, it could-
arenas should be like. Has it so far been what they thought it was going to be?
I was just with them last week. I don't know, because they don't know or aren't telling. So they're gonna take a year of data collection, and then they're going to report out. But presumably, yes, they have so this is well beyond the scope of this meeting, but they have a whole sorting room in which all the waste goes to, you tear out your bag and they sort. That exists.
I'm sorry, you know what, for everybody that's here, in case they don't know about the LA Clippers arena, you want to just quickly give them 2 seconds about why this arena is even.
It's brand new. Steve Ballmer built it. It's $4 billion. It's hold on a sec. This is not teed up. We did not like. Hey,
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
But it's a totally decarbonized building is the play. So they're on 100% renewable energy. It's all electric, and they, I think, did or will buy all the offsets for the embodied carbon. So that's all the carbon associated with the concrete walls and everything else in the building. So they're trying to do it the right way. Tom Pleasure did this a couple of years ago, and Steve was like, I'm gonna outdo it. And I love the competition.
Yeah,
Do it, outdo it. So we'll see. But yeah, there's just more of a decarb than zero waste story. But
Interesting. Did you put that guy from AECOM food?
That's this guy's name too.
no, I didn't really do it.
You did, okay,
No.
all right, I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah, we'll make it. We'll make it.
AECOM, somebody I connected it with. Anyway, I'm sorry. No, I really appreciate you sharing that, and there is still a lot that you can do. And I know here specifically in Fayetteville, a lot of people still not, the whole recycling thing, because it's like, because I know that some people are like, why can't it just be one sorting facility as opposed to, is there something to that would they be more efficient if they just dumped everything in and sorted it?
I'm not putting anything on the record here. But there's a huge, it's a global debate.
Yeah.
What City of Fayetteville does better than anybody is they have high value commodities that they sell. And they have a pure stream of recycling. What goes to City of Fayetteville, you can trust it. And that has so much value.
Yeah.
The other guys, you can put anything in the bin, anything, it's called wish recycling, put it in. We just put it in.
Get on down on
I mean, I've seen.
I don't know if anybody else in this room knew that about the city of Fayetteville and the reputation from that perspective. I've never heard that side. I've just heard everybody complaining about, why can't they just
There's a reason.
dump it up? Yeah, but I
Why
mean,
does that mean-
that's really, I'm gonna lead with that next time, because that's kind of information I'd like to know,
I mean, if you know, it affects our purchasing decisions in our house.
Yeah.
Because what does the city of Fayetteville takes? Walmart in Springdale, you can take these there. You can take thermoforms to their parking lot, you can put them in. So there is an avenue, it's just not broad. It's not available at Fayetteville. You gotta just, yeah, exactly. Yes. Right, that's right.
The Joyce, Walmart and Joyce?
You okay, Gary? Oh, nice one, dude. Oh, that's all right, bro.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing from our lawyer.
I didn't even know that.
Building container.
All of that, that's where I'm gonna start going.
Plastic
Yeah.
bags and plastic wrappings for food.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm recycling ton, and I do, like you said, I make purchasing decisions
Yeah.
based on, can I recycle this?
Yeah.
You know, I will not buy food in certain packaging.
Yeah.
Can't be recycled.
Yeah, I think we're in a minority, but I think a lot of people at ONF are in that minority. This discussion is not gonna go very far in Bentonville, but it goes a long way here, I think. So it's, it's an honor to be here. For inviting me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming.
Way to not hurt yourself when you fall.
And Michael, you are welcome to stay the rest of the meeting. You
I
are.
think for you guys, we'll get out of here.
We appreciate it.
Good job. I like the multitask. It helps.
Dr. D, Mr. Krause, thank you. All right, okay. I'm just gonna share real quickly a few things, and then I'm gonna yield the rest of my time for the CCMA recap and the GM report. I've had a number of conversations. I had a talk with Thane Royale yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't keep you in on that, but it was just impromptu. But, so Thane is probably going to be wrapping up her consulting work with the co-op at the end of this year. And she will have somebody else that she's identified that she thinks would be highly appropriate to bring on board to take over, and probably going to have something worked out probably in the fall, but I just wanted to let you guys know that. She's still actively working with us, nothing has changed, but she's just kind of at a season in life where she's kind of ready to hang up her cleats and not run around as much to all different parts of the country, because we're not the only co-op that she's servicing.
Thank you.
But, thank you, sir. And, so anyway, we had a good conversation about that and some of the plans, that she has. And so I will share more of that as I get it, and keep you guys up to date. And of course, as you know, I always talk with her about what we're kind of working on or going through. So a lot of the conversations that we had recently, both her and I, or Danielle, myself, and Thane, have been around this whole issue of, working on cleaning up our bylaws, getting some things in order that we need to get in order. Talking about recently, just talked about the finance committee, which, something I'm gonna be sending to you guys, via email, is just kind of an outline of some different examples of charters of finance committees at different co-ops around the country, and I'll be sharing that with you guys to review, as well as a rough draft of a charter for ONF that we can pick apart and figure out what's what and what we want, what we don't want. But there are best practices around finance committees, and I think we, if with all things being equal, based on the conversations that I've had with people like Tony Alonji, with Thane, with Audrey, and with Dennis, and with you guys, we could probably theoretically have a finance committee in place before the end of Q3, with everything kind of wrapped up and put together. Because the reason it's not like, oh, well, we're just going to start meeting and talking about finances. You have to codify. This is what it's going to look like. This is who can be in it. This is who can't be in it. This is how long, how often we meet. Similar to how we set up the charters for the perpetuation and outreach and some of the other committees that we have. So this will sit there as well, and it will, I think, provide a much needed service, not just to the board collectively, but it will provide a much needed service to the GM and operations and vice versa. And it will be a great place for the members to see that transparency exist from a financial perspective, so that they're like, oh, well, no, these people are having meetings, not just this meeting, but another place where we talk about it. So we don't want this main meeting that we have every month on the fourth Tuesday to be the only time that we're talking about finances as a board. So we are going to work on that. And so we've got all that worked on, and I'll talk a little bit more about the articles, bylaws, and board compensation planning When we have our discussion in a few minutes, we'll go over that. But in the meantime, I don't know, Megan, Jacob, or I guess not Kim, but which one of you guys wants to do the presentation for CCMA and just give us the lay of the land of your experience up in
Well, Megan
Duluth?
made an amazing group doc, Google
Actually,
Doc.
Kim did.
Kim did,
Kim.
sorry, Megan, you're sitting right
I was
beside
gonna
me.
say it, but no.
And we all just captured our notes there, so I think we all have sort of a different perception based upon the breakout sessions that we took, but some similarities, so I think that document can be, Kim, is that available for everybody?
You want to just give us the highlights though?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I shared,
I would just.
yeah, I
would
shared
just-
it with the full board, so definitely feel free
We
to.
don't have to see it, so I would just love for you just to give us the high level highlight.
Yeah, for me personally, this meeting with Audrey, discussing the need for a finance committee, glad we're talking about that in general. Understanding the Robin-Patman Act, and how it stopped being enforced in the 1980s. So basically an anti-compete that disrupted all of the local grocers. The amount of local grocers that were in small communities before them was astronomically high and was very diverse. That was sort of, I vaguely knew about Robertson-Patman, but I didn't have the exact understanding of how it affected grocers and how that could sort of translates to co-ops and how co-ops actually sort of grew out of that as almost like an anti, in my mind, personally, it's a reaction, like 10 years later, you know what I mean? You're in the 70s, co-ops were sort of buying cooperatives. In the 80s, they grew into more of a, hey, we need to do something because there's not as many grocers in places. To me, it's a socioeconomic effect for underserved communities. NCG membership benefits opened my eyes to a lot of that, honestly. Back office uniformity, co-metrics, unified tracking enables greater margins through increased efficiencies and shared knowledge. That was my big thing from NCG. Like, that's a big take for me personally. It's not just wholesale from UNFI, but it's actually also helping with our processes back house that helps efficiency build. DEI, everyone welcome. We all knew this, Dennis told us that. And honestly, never really sat right with me personally, but went fully into that with someone that can speak to that far more so than I can. So I won't really talk too much, but I definitely recommend you watch the video when they send it to us.
When are you gonna get that?
I think, I haven't sent it yet to us, but they'll send.
Yeah, LaDonna from Pluminate.
Oh, yeah.
LaDonna Redmond, she was impressive. Basically, she talked about how, food desert is a bad term in a sense to her, and it's more of a food apartheid because the food desert sort of takes away the actual issue of desert sounds natural, it sounds disconnected to actually hurting a human. It's just like it's like a food forest, a food desert. It's just sort of an okay bad thing, not really a really bad thing. It's actually hurting a lot of people. Co-ops and WIC, I went to that breakout session, and there are a lot of barriers to entry for WIC. And then for the co-ops that did do it, based upon who they serve, it was a mixed bag. So for us in our geographic location, it would be something that we would really want to look into before we make any hard decisions, though I'm sort of still for it personally, but could understand why it might not work in the store. Areas of opportunity in my mind, utilize CCMA to develop staff leaders. Biggest one to me, I just kept sitting in this and going, well, other staff need to be here from the co-op. I wish I could give my spot to somebody that's an employee here. And so that's my biggest number one thing. Build out an after dentist plan, 5, 10, 15-year strategic plan. We've talked about that loosely, but this brought to light that in my head as well, because he knows so much about all of this, and we're all vaguely naive, if so, to the larger picture. Identifying and more fully promoting our differentiation from other grocers, increase brand awareness, build board understanding of NCG membership benefits and gaps. So we as a board, I feel, don't fully, Randy does, and some folks do, Dennis does, some folks that have been here a lot longer understand the benefit of NCG, but the rest of us might be a little bit, I was behind the curve. I don't know if everybody else is, can't speak for y'all. Continue leadership in DEI through culture, creating space, product, board leadership with representation. DEI basically is not just a word, it's a feeling. It's, you walk into the store, you see your products, you see your people, you see your place. It's not just like, they brought up the fact, the way things smell, the way things feel, it's not just, oh, cool, we've checked some boxes. and investigate the pros and cons of WIC. And then I have a bunch of other ideas, but y'all can read it. Sorry, I went way too long. Megan.
I mean, that was great. That covered a lot of what I was gonna say too. But,
You did good.
there was a lot about equity, which we've been talking a lot about, trying to meet people where they're at. And there were several models of stores that did some kind of assistance either with the membership price or with like a discount program that they add people. There was one that was like way more radical than the others, and it had like, I want to say it was called the Flower Program,
Yeah.
and they offered a discount, I think, up to 13%. And it was by far like the most that they were actually losing some money at. The other programs all kind of paid for themselves. There was some pay it forward membership programs where some other person can pay for somebody else's membership, or they can retroactively pay for their membership by not taking their dues or something like
Yeah,
that.
when they leave their membership, they could leave it for someone else to carry on, so that way it sort of went into a separate account. So they brought up some accounting things that we would have to check
It
with
got
the
kind of
state.
complicated,
Because
yeah.
They did bring up that every state has a different way to do that, so you'd have to check with the state to be able to actually do that, but
Yeah.
sorry, keep going.
And
Almost
then-
like willing to give to somebody?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But because it's deferred property, it could be considered like a whole state law thing.
Yeah, some states were easier than others. And then,
You got Arkansas? Sorry.
no, I don't. Yeah, it's something I would have to look into for sure. Like what the state laws are, I'm not sure.
For Casey, no.
Yeah, and then I met a woman from Maine in a co-op there that was super cool. She was like, they actually do volunteer hours where you can get a discount for volunteering at the store, or you can go like out into the community and volunteer and get a discount. So I thought that was cool, as like a model, but just some nice options that I hadn't even considered. A lot of stores do double up food bucks. Just saying, I think they've had good results with that. I know that we have mixed feelings about that, but I just think it would be worth re-investigating it.
About food what?
Double up food bucks, like the government program that helps
right,
with,
right,
if you're on SNAP, you can get twice as much off if you shop there or something.
Yeah, UAMS used to do the
They
program.
did it at the
They
farmer's
still do
market,
it.
yeah. But yeah, there was other stuff, but that's enough.
Thank you so much. Well, we're so glad you guys got a chance to go to Duluth, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it does make it's eye-opening when you go. You're like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. So yeah, it's invaluable to say the least, so.
Megan, I just wanted to let you know that we've looked into the Double Up Food Bucks before, and it's a grant-based program, and they run out of funding.
Yeah.
So we've been on their hopefully list
Okay.
for years.
That's really good.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's no money in it currently.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right now.
18-month timeline, the last update I was
Wow.
getting.
So are you in the hopper? So that-
We're in the queue.
Okay.
We have been
That's
for at least
3 or 4 years
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good to know, thank
All
you.
right, that's good to know. Okay, Kim, you're up.
Yeah, and I'll just pick up where Megan left off with the individual from Maine. We met this woman from Maine and also an individual who was from Minneapolis, and we brainstormed this, what I think is a great idea, board member swap. Like, I hate that I'm referencing this show, but remember there was like a wife swap show on TV? But like,
Horrible show.
Okay.
yeah.
That was good.
But-
What do you do for TV time?
I
That was
wish
good.
that there was some sort of fund through CCMA that we could have board member swaps because, like Megan referenced, this individual we met from Maine. Megan, maybe you remember the population of her store, but I feel like it was like there were 5,000 residents of this community and like 2,500 were members of the co-op. Like something.
It's really
But yeah, the
wow.
whole town was members of the
100%.
co-op. So that's just a completely different dynamic and interesting store experience in community engagement. I also went to the Finance for Board Members workshop, and I have gone to a lot of finance workshops in my day, and I thought this particular workshop was extremely well run. To the point where I'm waiting on them to provide some of the resources from that particular workshop that I'd love to share with you all on ways that they've set up finance committees and the way that they instructed the people in the room on like, what is a balance sheet and what is an income statement? I thought they did it in a really approachable way. They actually framed it as like, we have now built a lemonade stand and we invested this amount to start the lemonade stand. So anyway, we walked through it in a very like, yeah, approachable and a relatable way. And the last thing I'll just mention is in meeting Audrey, is just I'm very encouraged by the different tiered approach that we're taking to address the different structures of reporting on financing. And I'm really encouraged by that meeting that we had outside of the conference. Like, it was nice to just meet her as a human being too.
Yeah, Audrey's the bee's knees, that's for sure. So very cool. Okay. Is that it, Kim?
Yeah, those are my highlights.
All right, thank you so much. Hope you feel better soon. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Can I add real quick, just for clarity and make sure, especially understanding, especially for our board candidates, in case anyone felt lost in any moment, especially on two key terms. So CCMA is an annual conference that is basically a collection of all co-ops. A lot of co-ops are there, a lot of board members, a lot of GMs, director of operations, people like that. NCG is the National
Cooperative Grocers.
Which is a lot to unpack there, but that's kind of like the centralizing group of all co-ops. So in case anybody had those questions, just wanted to put that out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was good.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you say co-op, you're referring only to food co-ops like this?
Yes.
In that.
Okay, that's
Well,
that's stupid, but.
Well, yeah, no, I think it is. NCG
Yes,
is just food.
NCG is
Yeah,
just-
Just food co-op.
NCG is
Yeah,
just
sorry.
food co-op.
Yeah.
See, I belong to an electric co-op.
Yeah.
It's also
So
housing
the
one.
NCG is just food co-op, but the CCMA is consumer co-ops. That
Yeah.
They belong to that.
Types of co-ops, often
They
they're,
belong to Clusa.
from what I've seen, they're primarily food.
Yeah, I don't think
You
it's
may have
not
seen
much
either.
that was.
So they invest.
But there could be other types of consumer co-op there. For example, one food co-op also had like a trial services co-op as part of their co, like a,
Yeah.
so there are others, but I think food, just because of the sheer size of that retail.
I thought so, I just.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a good question. There's housing co-ops, there's also.
Oh, yeah, there's
Yeah.
co-ops. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Dennis,
Especially.
with the year report.
Okay, we're gonna have a different type of Dennis report tonight, okay? So what I wanna first do is just kind of set the stage for the future. This report, I'm gonna go through it, kind of half of it, and let you know you probably won't see some of the things again, okay? But I want you to understand that I took the conversation about the board calendar serious. Randy and Joshua introduced me to Michael Healy from Cluminate, and I don't know, I've become just a little student, so we're having a fun time with it. We've got, I have a collection from co-ops that I've been in, that I've done the board calendar, and we're getting collections all over the country. So he knows I don't want to be second to nobody on this structure and these kind of things. So I think you'll see it get better and better as I go, okay? So let's just start. First of all, I report compliance with all parts of this policy. Certify that the information contained in this report attachment is true. So when I ever do that, I ever say that, I actually don't need my name and signature because I always feel like if I give it to you, it's straight up, okay? But this is kind of part of the board compliance. What I want to share right now is this won't be, again, but B5, okay, is one of the items that I'll be reporting on in the future, okay? It's an earlier month, but it's the communication and counsel to the board. So I'm just going to read tonight very straight up, okay? The GM may not cause or allow the board to be uninformed or unsupported in its work. Accordingly, the GM may not fail to, A, make the board aware of relevant trends and events, advise the board if the board or one of its members is not in compliance with board policies on board process or board management relations. So basically what I'm saying is this one part, just so you know, I'm just kind of again setting the stage. I'll never put this again. The GM report will be a separate report. And then whatever the board calendar says, Randy has it on the agenda, there'll be two separate documents, okay? One will be the GM report, and then one will be whatever the report is, okay? That for that month. And the GM report, it'll be more narrative, And what I would say to you is, we'll just get to the GM report. I might say 3 sentences. Do you have any questions? Okay, so that's how that's gonna go. I think it's really important that you just know that structure. I just wanted to make sure that you know, and this is something that Michael and I just wanted to make clear, is that I have to do this. I'm supposed to do this. So it's not just words, if that makes sense, okay? And things that I say to you, whether I'm signing or not, they're totally true, okay? And now I'm having it all vetted from 3 people, okay? 2 will be financial people and 1 will be somebody on board reporting. Because I just want to get it really right for you. I do think that Michael made the fun comment. You're talking to 9 people. And you just got to keep reminding yourself, it's hard to communicate 9 different ways. And so I'm here for you. This report's for you. It's not for me. And so anyway, that's what I'm trying to look at your lens, each one of you. Okay, so sometimes that's not going to work. So feel free, be direct. Just be real direct, what you want and what you don't see. Okay. All right. So let's move right on. Operations, total sales, 1,294,313 for the month of May. The budgeted sales, 1,090,000, so a variance of 204,313. I'm not going to say nothing else. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you, that's the difference of reporting, but those are straight up numbers. Jacob, you talked about this before, so now you just have a number. Okay, so you have to assess that as the board, obviously. Comp sales, positive 15.18%. So that's year May 24 to 25. The benchmark for NCG, you're going to see all my reporting now. The benchmarks of NCG is 3% or higher. So we're at 15, so 5 times higher. The MML, I'm not sure if you know what that is. It's margin minus total labor costs. So our number is 17.9. So that's taking our margin minus all personnel costs, which is 20.7. So the benchmark for NCG is 12%, is a strong co-op. This co-op is at 17.9. The net income at 104,377, subject to quarterly inventory adjustments. So you'll never see me do that again. Gail Summers is one of our new financial folks. And what I would say to you, I won't say a number again unless Gail's approved it. Yeah. Okay. And Gail will be a part of that finance committee. So all I'm saying there is that's the highest net income, 104,377. But again, it's subject to quarterly inventory adjustments, which is coming up here June 30th. Okay. Cash in the bank, 2.1 million. That's up 166,000 over last month. That's 678,000 since September of 2024. And that's obviously 9 months. Days of cash on hand, so I haven't said that to you before, it's 160 days. That's through May. The NCG benchmark is 30 days. 90 days is the financial team, so that would be 3 people. Okay, Stephanie and Gail and 1 other person. We'll keep her nameless right now because she's doing a review. But under CPA guidance, that would be Audrey Griffin. We talked about this on the 22 and 23 review, and my goal is 180 days. Okay, so if you look at the last 3 months, we're averaging 190. Okay, so that's the days of cash on hand. You'll be hearing a lot more about cash. Monthly employee turnover, 77 total staff. There were no terminations, no resignations, so 0. The public events, we did conduct a local vendor fair. Randy was talking about that, occurred on June 14. Curate cohort, hosted by Kim from the board of directors, was on June 11th. That particular event, a lot of new local vendors, so lots of new ideas on that one. We'll be doing more of that. We'll be celebrating Pride Month with a Pride Party in store on June 28th. Our internal, external changes, so these are the things that I need to be more sharing with you, like subjects. Marley Brown has been promoted to the operations manager. So, and the admin is what that's really telling to the board, like definition. There's our onboard finance person, not finance manager, but Marley knows everything about the finances in this co-op. Okay, next, cost increasing, cost of goods, transportation, handling costs, handling across all parts. We're getting service fees, all different kinds of fees, and they're coming from different places. And one of the items would be like, minimum amount shipped. And if you don't hit those amounts, then you're getting another fee. So there's lots of that going on. So just to be aware of that. Our alcohol and tobacco license has been renewed. The next step, the licenses will get all of them into Dennis's name. Okay, so just a point there. The alcohol and tobacco license is the state. That's the easy one. The next one is the local. That one's really rather entertaining. So, Andy knows. Okay. Media, Unify has supply chain disruption, June 7 to June 20. The trucking is, they're back on track, but they're very high out of stocks. Our meat and our produce, as an example, last weekend, basically got 50% of what they ordered. The Unified Truckers are going on strike, multiple divisions, that was reported on June 18. So these are just things for you to know. You're gonna see a lot less communications, emails from me. We're just gonna get it to you in one spot. Okay, now, what I want to talk about next, what we're doing now is we're establishing and we're building, how can you say, confidence in our quality financials, okay? So what does that mean? That means that Audrey, Tony Alangi, Gail, they're looking at every rock, at every single thing that we do financially, okay? That's every report, that's coming through the back door, that's being counted in inventory. They're gonna be here this weekend doing an inventory just to kind of check processes, but they're gonna be checking every little rock. Okay, so I just want to let you know, let me give you one example. NCG, when you go across Cometrics, you look at gross margin, okay? So you see sushi in our store. It's a really easy example to get. The gross margin on that product is 26%. And what that's done for years has made Ozark Natural Foods gross margin lower because that number is into that gross margin. Does that make sense? Okay, so what's important is it shouldn't be there. It should be part of other income. So it's on balance sheet and income statement in the wrong spots, okay? So all I'm saying is, when I'm saying we're establishing and building confidence in the quality financials, we're going to take all the balance sheets, all the income statements, and every single financial document we touch, and they're all going to get connected. What does that look like? First, the overview is ERP converting from Sage Desktop to QuickBooks Online. This will enable more robust financial reporting, automate common accounting tasks, improve cash flow tracking, include reconfiguration of P&L, increasing automation for the GM. It takes about 30 days for me to get gross margins, and those gross margins aren't even accurate in terms of how they're put together because they're mixed. And what's going to happen is they're going to be by department. They're going to be within 5 days.
Awesome.
Within 5 days, Alicia and the team can manage. And we're going to have problems. That's just food retailing. But if you know after 5 days and you're not waiting for 30, it's a big difference to your business. So what we've been focusing on, Dennis, been focused on increasing sales, looking at the total margin and decreasing the wage percent and increasing the productivity and watching the cash. That's what I've been doing for a year and a half. And it's all going to come out in a real nice way, is what I'm trying to tell you. But all of this has to be connected. And we've got like 5 trains, right, going in, and we're trying to put those all together, okay, all the caps. So the timeline for the first one is Q2 at 25. The project is currently underway and targeted for full integration by July 1st. It's going very well. The finance team will be using the first 3 months of the post-conversion to get QuickBooks Online fully operational before transferring to the Sage business. So just so you know, QuickBooks Online has been going since January. And now we've got the experts, and that would be Audrey and Gail and Stephanie looking at it to move into so that we can use it, okay? We'll keep the Sage Desktop online through the current fiscal year. That's really for taxes, just so that we're covered there. We've got pros taking care of the business on finance. Audrey and Gail are really strong. Number 2, standardizing the metrics. We're standardizing all monitoring metrics for cost of goods, margin, inventory verification to align with NCG benchmarks. So again, we're going to have a problem with Cometrics go away, okay? And we found 3 issues already. I think that we're right where we need to be. Okay, so after Q2, it'll be reported in August. I think we'll be there. Okay, for finally be there. Okay, so that's underway. We're also working with the CPA, that's Audrey, to complete the fiscal 24 financial review. He established the sound beginning of the fiscal numbers for 2025. Every single number on every single financial is being looked at. Okay. Number 3, improve payables efficiencies with Bill.com. We have a lot of local vendors, obvious, but we're going to switch all to Bill.com. I will plan to implement Bill.com, streamline our payables process. That's just going to help us. Timeline is Q3 2025. And the QuickBooks Online is really the first, the entry point, and it's going to help us move fast. And number 4, the NCG chart of accounts conversion. This project is forthcoming, will begin in fall of 25. Again, when QuickBooks is fully operational. That's all being mapped and worked behind the scenes. And Audrey, Dale, and Stephanie have been working on that. And last, PH, that's our favorite. That's product hierarchy. It's updating all classification in SMS. So we're aligned with NCG standards and our common chart of accounts. So everything is going to be best in class. And I think, again, for some, maybe it doesn't make sense, but maybe hopefully it makes sense now. There was 11 years of upgrades that was done on this co-op in 2023 at the end. We started at, what was it, 2013, and we're now at 2024. So just letting you know that, again, that's why some of the parts of the train were connected. Okay, so, but we're not just doing parts of it, we're doing all of it. So we're really confident these initiatives will significantly strengthen our financial operations. I will begin the finance committee, just like Randy said. I'm really proud of him for letting us get that rolling. Kim and Jacob are dying to do it, and Gail and Steph. Steph will help Gail, just so that we're clear so there's no question that can't be answered. And obviously, that finance committee will be really good, because what you're really doing is you're helping, just putting that out there, one plug for finance committee, you're helping the board president and the GM not have to answer for the numbers, because the GM is going to answer for the numbers, but what you're doing is you're being able to ask questions, real live. So it's just the transparency will become really good there. Okay. All right, so enough of that. Next is just 2 charts. So I'd say they might not be in the future ones, so take a look. But that's going to be the GM report. Okay. So what I'm going to say now is if there's any questions on that part, and then I'll move on to the one at hand tonight, which is B6. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, so now I'm going to move on to policy B6, management continuity. So again, the top part of this is all out of our B6, policy, or the general manager's limitations. So first, I report compliance with all parts of this policy. I certify that the information contained in the report and attachments is true, obviously a sign and signature. And so this is actually the policy. I protect the board from sudden loss of GM services. The GM shall not permit there to be fewer than 2 other managers sufficiently familiar with board and GM issues and processes to enable either to take over with reasonable proficiency as interim successor. The policy should be monitored annually in June. So now it goes into the GM. So the interpretation of that, the co-op should have clearly outlined actions to be taken in case of management disruption. This may include temporary personnel or backup systems. Again, just to help you with the setting of the stage, this is what you're going to hear next. You're going to hear what my answers are to that. But this is my interpretation of what you're looking for to take care of that policy. A clear communication plan is established with communication protocols. Keep stakeholders such as employees, suppliers, and customers informed. Develop procedures for handling a management crisis, including how to respond to incidents, manage public relations, and restore operations. Identify key roles, essential duties, provide training and development opportunities to store management team, ensure potential successors are well prepared to take on new responsibilities. Maintain documentation of the management continuity plan in a clear, concise, accessible manner, including procedures, roles, responsibilities. Periodically review the management leadership continuity plan to ensure that it is still relevant and effective. So the operational definition of policy number 1 is the management should have a written continuity policy that incorporates the plans to activate all in case of management disruption crisis. All the management team should be trained and aware of the plan. Over the long term of this plan shall be periodically reviewed, kept current, up to date. So another good one. The GM must not allow operations without a management continuity plan. And then the data is leadership and management continuity plan policy exists. So here's our plan, basically, okay? First of all, in case of disruption of general manager services, 2 other managers have been named as sufficiently familiar with the general responsibilities and board of directors' duties to enable either to take over with reasonable proficiency as an interim successor. Alicia Powell, Director of Operations, would take this role, and Marie Holloman, Director of Human Resource, would assist. The Operations Manager, Brooke and Marley, would also participate in assisting with the continuity plan. Currently, when the GM is not on site, the development and training have been in place since September of 23. So when I'm gone, that plan has already been put in place. Meaning Alicia takes the lead when the GM is off for more than 2 days, with Anne Marie and Brooke, and now Marley assisting. So we just added not 2, but we have 4. Okay? Additionally, in this case, Alicia is being trained in the succession plan to be developed to be a candidate for the GM role. So that one's just really important to say. I'm not saying that Alicia is the GM. Okay, I'm just saying that I'm training and developing her to be that. That's the succession plan. So I think next is the critical context. There is a list of critical contexts, key personnel with clearly defined roles. In the event of management disruption, details of the context of relevant internal, external stakeholders and authorities are maintained, and personnel are assigned responsibility for internal, external communications. The GM must not an updated critical contact list with roles to be out of date or irrelevant. And then here's your org chart, the current org chart, who reports to who, and the general manager has all critical employee contacts. All phone numbers are up to date in iSolve. That's our payroll system. And within the reach of the GM, Alicia, Anne-Marie, Brooke, and Marley. When you have one, it's a little difficult, but the 4 of us can get anybody at any moment. Okay, so you should know that. Next, critical functions. There's a list of critical function, key roles, essential duties performed by management, clearly outlined. There are others who know how to perform in a backup capacity these roles and duties. So the GM must not allow key roles, essential duties to be without adequate and appropriate training and secondary support backup personnel not identified to perform such roles. A data training checklist exists. So Michael told me to make sure you know of all the board calendar items you're going to ask me. This is my favorite. And this one here, is constantly on the go to improve, okay? So the management team is consistently in training with the general manager. A minimum of 3 meetings per week, that's occurring right now. In this context, the management team consists of Alicia, Anne-Marie, Brooke, and Marley. These 4 people know everything going on in the co-op, and they know the critical points of the board. These meetings address ongoing operational strategy, community, personnel, financials, and board matters. The general manager maintains a list of critical functions, key roles, and essential duties performed by the management is clearly outlined. There are other members of the management staff who know how to perform in a backup capacity, and each is receiving additional training, which primarily are the manager on duty positions. Right now, that's Brody, Mick, and Carlos. And additionally, Tyler, who's here tonight, Trent, who's here tonight, and Doug, they're receiving additional training to fill the role of manager on duty. So you can kind of see the bench strength, what we're doing. In the department head roles, we're developing the bench with assistants so they can be considered for other management roles as well as the department they're in. Example, we just had a person, their name is Ryan. His pronoun is he. Ryan was in the kitchen and was a cook, and now is the assistant grocery manager. And I don't know if you've noticed, but an amazing talent that has just been put into that role. So again, we're just working our bench. The general manager has made arrangements for professional development for the management team, in preparation for potential disruption. The general manager maintains a training record, which includes one-on-one meetings and annual evaluations. So as Alicia and Anne Marie are direct reports, they do have one-on-ones with me twice a month, okay? And sometimes we miss it, for sure once a month, but they have their annual evaluations as well. As part of Alicia's training, we have attended the KE show in 2025, together looking at trends in our industry, merchandising concepts, products, and connect it with our primary vendor, KE. KE is the leader in natural organic products merchandising. We had a great time in Phoenix and got really connected to what's coming next. So just to kind of share that's happening, that's not going to stop. Lastly, as part of the training of Alicia and Marie, we've been discussing areas within the board of directors and policy governance. Policy governance is one that I do enjoy, so just putting that out there. To be included in professional development plan for 26, the GM will attend the CCMA with Alicia and Anne Marie. No difference with the board. In other words, the board, the CCMA is great for the board, if you ask me. You really learn about co-ops. I think it would be really good for the team to be there. Jacob and Kim and Megan and I were talking about it, is for you to see other co-ops. You kind of feel more proud about your own co-op. So it's, for that reason alone. Finally, in addition, the board of directors meetings, all for the management team, Alicia, Anne Marie, Brooke, and Marley will be attending board committees or part of their training just on board matters. So you've kind of already kind of seen that, okay? So in the committees example, I only picked the perpetuation and finance because I think that we can do that, okay, according to, our bylaws. Right? I'd like the board liaison, Ms. Marley is doing that and taking that over for Lisa. Alicia is on the perpetuation. And what you're going to see is that continue to change. Anne Marie will be on that perpetuation in probably next year. And Brooke will probably be taking over the board liaison. So we're just getting them really connected in all the bench in terms of the happenings. And so hopefully that when you saw that, it would have been nice to do this report first before we did that. But I think that's what's going to happen here with the board calendar. It's going to all catch up once you go from month to month. So that's my report. I report compliance with all parts of B6.
Great. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions about B6? Jacob?
No, that's awesome.
Nate?
No, sir.
Yes, Ken.
The manager on duty, is that a new relatively new thing? Or is it all been they had to know?
After Dennis came on, that's when we switched from, store leads to, MRDs.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Something when there was a GM audit by NCG done is we're kind of excited to see Tony Alonji come here because the last time Tony was here was 2.5 years ago. And we're kind of excited because some of the things that he thought were crazy, we didn't have department heads. So we changed that entire structure at the same time. So I think that will be a fun event to watch for that. So
I thought that was the case. I just didn't know if it was
Yeah.
long or not. Another question back on this was from earlier, but the alcohol and tobacco license, you talked about that, and that they will move to your name. Is that like a normal fact? Can you just kind of expand on that practice and?
yeah, I think, mostly when you're an interim general manager and you go to different places, it's crazy to put your name on everything because you just create more work. And so the GM of a co-op their name should be on all the licenses.
Okay.
So that's pretty common practice.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's really important because you're kind of getting there, so I'm just going to touch it. The finance committee, it's really nothing to do with the GM. It's really for the board, and it's really for the transparency for the board president and the GM. So I want it so bad for Randy and I, because that really protects us. And we talk, Randy and I, that's another example. Randy and I talk once a month. We have lunch, go over everything. So what that finance committee does, it protects everything that was said there, because there's transparency. So. I love questions too. It's fun.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Yeah. Megan? I'm good. Anything else?
I think I'm good.
You are? Ms. Bryden, any questions?
questions.
She's being funny now. Okay, all right. I just have a comment. I really appreciate, again, I understand, and just for everybody's edification, when Dennis came in, and I mentioned this before, he came in with a dashboard, which is kind of customary for an interim general manager to operate from, just because he's not necessarily gonna be here for a long time. When I originally got with Dennis, I thought it was gonna be 6 months. He would find somebody and move on. Lo and behold, I was convincing enough to convince him to come to Fayetteville and stay here. So that's the one feather that I'm really proud of, that we got him to stay. But now that he's here, the whole concept was, how do we get this reporting into a phase where this is how we need to receive this information. And it takes a while sometimes. I mean, even when Mike was GM, he had to go through a process to fully get to where he needed to be from a reporting standpoint. And so I learned a lot about that process. And I did, just for everybody's edification, for the potential oncoming board members, this reporting piece this is like your Bible each month. You really need this information to feel informed, even remotely, about what's happening behind these walls right here in this part of the building. And so I think it's important for us to have this information. And again, the fact that Michael Healy has been working with Dennis, who's a really great report writer, I suspect that these will only continue to improve as time passes on. So, and the other thing I'm also heartened by, and it's one of the things that I said, and it actually kind of loosely speaks to Pat's commentary, although hers was directed more at the board. One of the things that I will say is that we have, and I said this to everybody on the staff right when Dennis was coming on, I said, our goal is to create a bunch of leaders. I'm sure some of you guys remember me saying that Dennis is going to work himself out of a job so that other people can step in, Alicia, Marley, Brooke, these people can step in and do what Dennis is doing. Not that he's going to get fired, but that he'll create room for other people to come in and do something really amazing. And honestly, that is the true mark of a vibrant and healthy organization. And to that point, Pat, I also think that it is one of the reasons why, as a board, we have to really come up with a solid plan to bring people along and really develop them. And we're trying to do that. We still got a ways to go, but her, and I just wanted to comment on that, because Dennis is proof that it can be done, and he's doing it all the time. And I'm always amazed when I interact with the rest of the folks, and it's as if I'm talking to Dennis. And that's the nice thing, right? So people feel empowered. They're not like, oh, let me call the boss and see what he says. It's none of that. It's like, oh, I'll take care of that. And the cool thing is, and there are some differences between how things were just a couple of years ago. I'm even seeing the just base level staff feeling enfranchised to make decisions. Whereas before it was like, oh wait, someone's not around, I can't act. I'll take care of that right away. Boom, let me take care of that. And it's amazing, and I've heard that anecdotally from others. My wife says it all the time, and I've talked to other people that have no dog in the fight that have said, man, they are very responsive and reactive. And a lot of that is due to the way that Dennis leads things and lets people lead, which is huge. So I'm just saying all that to say thank you very much for doing that. And this month's report is a great indicator of where we're headed, and I'm excited to see that. So thank you very much. So, okay, all right. So that's it. All right. So you want to vote on B6? Can somebody make a motion to accept? Make a motion to accept B6 as presented.
Yep.
Okay.
Second the
You
motion.
second that motion, okay. Then all in favor of accepting B6 as presented to us both in electronic format as well as tonight? Aye. Ayes, Kim?
Hey, sorry.
We're just voting on B6. Do you,
Yes.
are you, aye? Okay, good. All right.
I'm an aye.
That's what is this? 7 with 2 absent. 7 yeas, 1 aye with 2 absent. B6 is approved. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
He's not, no, we're doing that at a later time. Yeah, I talked to him already. We're good. That's why I took it off. Yeah.
I can't remember the month. I think it's 1 or 2.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll get it worked out.
No,
No, you can be here.
No, you're good.
That's it, this is that.
Yeah.
They gotta sleep.
All right, next, we'll move on real quickly. Perpetuation Committee, we already talked about it, Ken, but you want to just quickly share?
Yep, we'll be pretty short. We are, we moved on from our candidates. We do have 3 of our candidates with us tonight, which is very exciting. Thank you all for being here.
This is their first, you guys' first time in meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. And Carrie was here last
Yeah.
month, yeah. So much.
We have Carrie, Ariel, and Paige with us, all 3 tonight. We have Sean and Tara as our other candidates that are not present with us tonight.
Okay.
So we feel good there. We're now moving on to the annual members meeting, which is on September 14th. We had our perpetuation meeting on Thursday. It was pretty short and sweet, 15, maybe 20 minutes. Just to have alignment. Generally, our alignment is that we are excited about the trajectory of the operations team taking on, the development of not only the annual members meeting, but more like the overall communication strategy, the activity of that week, the engagement, the activation of the tour, et cetera, happening up to that point. So I think that's a great precedent for us to set, is for them to take that on. Whereas our responsibility as a board and as that committee will be primarily to focus on the agenda of that meeting itself. So that 2-hour block that is the annual member meeting by bylaw will be the thing that we focus on primarily, which I think is a good spot for us to be. An action from that is talk with Alicia. Alicia had a set of questions. She was like, you work on this and I'll take it from there, sort of thing. And so I sent you all a survey today. We've had, last I checked, we had 6 responses already, which is great. That was way faster than I expected. So thank you.
So.
Yes,
I'm an over communicator. If it's in the cloud, you can put that link everywhere. So we got that out there. Alicia already has access to that, so that's kind of something we might be able to do in the future, but anyhow. She'll take those responses.
Way better.
We can discuss that on a monthly basis or what have you, leading up to it. So we'll check in with Alicia, but really we'll just try to answer all of her questions and the teams, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, we'll focus on the agenda, which is quite short and sweet. So I think it also says that committee, especially on a route, to have a heavy focus up front, and then you kind of just make sure you're in alignment towards AMM and you're good, and then you onboard it and you start it over again. So I like that. That's that, unless there's any questions. Right.
I just have one, is that okay? I think it's really important, like in this particular situation, Alicia is, she's a master in terms of what we're talking about here. But I think one of the things, as we were talking about this, is operations, just hand it to us. Because I can tell you right now, she'll have it planned to the minute on who's gonna do what. And she has some really additional ideas. We just need to hear, go. And I think we'll have a hell of a meeting, because we got a lot of staff. We haven't been able to talk to them yet, because we just need your green light, and we're trying to be really respectful. So just kind of know that when you do that, get ready, because that piece of paper will be ×4, because we're gonna get the stuff behind it. So I think it'll be fun.
Love that. And from my understanding, we have full support of the board for us to make this move. So just to be really clear there, I think that everyone's got a lot of alignment on that.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we can rock.
All of our support.
Yeah.
100%.
One less thing we can do.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm actually excited about the, the easels and going around the different areas. That sounds like fun, just for people to have questions. Because if nothing else, we just need to get more participation in voting. I mean, you go back, I look back on several years and you had like 140 people vote. And we have almost 13,000 members. And we need more participation. Not even one. You just got to get more people out. Some of it is awareness. Some of it is just, you have to be a broken record. Come vote, come vote, come vote, come vote. Or vote online. You just got to keep saying it over and over again. So no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I'll add real quick too, back to Dennis. I think it goes both ways too with the board. if you guys are planning something cool like that, tell us the same. Hey,
Okay.
here's what we want you to do, be here at this minute, and do this.
Perfect.
And I think, you know, we would be happy to take on that role too.
Perfect.
And there's a lot of people, but I think it, you know, so it goes both ways. I just wanna make sure we say that, cause like, you tell us, we'll do that thing.
Okay, good.
Especially if we just gotta be somewhere and talk to people, that's a good thing.
That's what we need to hear.
I'll make it work.
Yeah.
Cause it can be fun, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And don't think Megan is shy, because we saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I heard.
Not a problem.
Yes, I heard about the new Megan, so.
And you know, what happens in Duluth?
Right, stays in Duluth, so.
It definitely does, doesn't it, Megan?
8 o'clock.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. Let's move on to outreach. Dr. Denny's not here, but he gave me an update. There were 5 volunteers, 3 board members, and 2 family members. Thank you, Cannon, specifically. Please tell Heather thank you for the drinks and snacks. And that was for the apple seeds. And I actually missed it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sorry I missed it. I couldn't make it that day. But I did notice that tree that I pruned has vines growing in there again. I'm just gonna pull off on the side of the road.
Hey, our spot looks pretty good.
It does. Oh, yeah, it looks pretty good, but I noticed it, and I'm like, that thing cleaned out, that vine came back, so I've got my shears and I put them in the car, I'm gonna get that vine. I'm serious, I'm gonna get it, so.
The sun's shining, the rain's off.
Trail cleanup is still consistently the most attended, that's the most attended outreach event that we have. And then, of course, St. James Food Bank was the largest group. The first time we volunteered, we had 27 people. And there's nothing currently scheduled for outreach in the future as of right now. But of course, other things will come online. And again, we have other ways that we outreach, which I know some of the board members came on Saturday to attend the event. I spent about an hour here talking to all the vendors. One of the things that I heard back was that the local producers and providers really appreciate that we're one of the few places that gives them a platform with which to share what they're doing. I talked to Stephanie, which, I mean, she's already in the cold section, but I mean, just talking to her and you know, just hearing what she had to say, and then some of the others, and Krista Cloud and some of the others that are, you know, just getting into the co-op, they're like, this is the best thing ever. And I keep telling people that, I know originally we said, well, we want to get to 20% local providers or producers. I'm thinking, heck, maybe 30%.
Yeah.
It might even be better, because then that maybe sometimes that could potentially insulate us from some of the logistical challenges that a lot of other grocery stores are struggling with that can't have product. I don't know about you guys, but I walked in here last night and I saw that rose display and I almost had a little tear in my eye. I was so blown away by that. As somebody that I lived in Europe, and I lived in Germany for a while studying, and you know, one of the things that we don't think about, like in Europe specifically, but like in every major European nation, like everywhere you go, there are flower shops, anywhere you can get flowers at any time of the day or night.
I want to make sure.
Everything. And so, I mean, just seeing that, it reminds me of a European marketplace. Going in there and just having that, and I mean, Christine and the rest of them, I mean, she's just, especially with the dried flowers. I mean, it's just really exciting to see that, so, anyway.
And she's teaching 2 others too, which
I heard, so that's good. All right, so that's it for outreach. We're gonna continue on, policy committee. Basically, I'm just going to hijack what Joshua would have shared, which is what we talked about at the policy committee meeting, to just share with you the plan as of right now. And some of this is going to address some of the things that Ms. Pat brought up a little while ago, as well as some of the concerns and issues that we've been trying to solve. And I'm basically, I just wanted to kind of share with you in the meeting what I shared. I sent this to all the board already, but this is the plan that we're discussing to do the ratification of the Articles of Incorporation and bylaws, as well as a proposed revision to the director compensation. So why we're doing this, the co-op is updating its governance and record-keeping processes to ensure they are well documented, transparent, and easy to replicate by future boards. In reviewing our current documents, we discovered opportunities to improve clarity, consistency, and accessibility. To that end, we are proposing that the board and membership ratify the current versions of our articles and bylaws, which we will put together and present, reflecting all changes made over time, and establish a streamlined process for future revisions so things don't fall through the cracks like they have in recent years. This work is focused on governance, transparency, and creating sustainable systems. So here's just a timeline overview for everyone's edification. June 24th, this is our board meeting. This is just a discussion only. I'm introducing to everyone the process for ratification and compensation review. There will be no vote taken at this meeting, so there's nothing to vote on. This is just a conversation, and I'll hold everyone for comments as soon as I'm done. After June 24th, I'm going to circulate the following draft documents for board review: resolution and proposed articles of incorporation. These are things that Casey and the law group have been working on. Resolution and proposed bylaws, and proposed director compensation structure, which is simply just an outline that Casey came up with that allows for a high degree of transparency, both for the board and for the membership. July 2nd is supposed to be our policy committee meeting, but Joshua agreed to change it to the 9th. So we're gonna do it 1 week later because next week is a holiday week. So don't want to start stuff in the middle of that. Anyway, all directors are invited, and Casey will be available by phone for that particular meeting. What we're going to talk about in that meeting is discussion and review of proposed. Any revisions discussed will be incorporated and recirculated to everyone on the board. And then the week of July 14th, we will distribute final copies of all documents sent to board members ahead of our July meeting, which is taking place on July 22nd. That's the fourth Tuesday of July. And the board will vote. We need to vote unanimously to ratify the articles and bylaws. And then the board will have to vote on whether to propose changes to director compensation. Okay. The next thing is by August 5th, no later than August 12th, the following would be published and made available to members: ratified articles of incorporation, ratified bylaws, and a proposed director compensation language if applicable. Okay, so if we come to a place where we agree on everything, then this is what we're going to put out to the world. And so by that, sometime between the 5th and no later than the 12th of August, we will have that information out to everyone, because it has to be out, according to our bylaws, 30 days before the AMM meeting, which is September 14th. September 14th is our annual members meeting. Members will vote both in person and online to ratify the articles of incorporation, whatever changes we've made and updates we've made to the bylaws to bring them current, as well as director compensation changes if proposed. September 23rd, we will, well, it's a little bit longer than that. I think it's exactly 2 weeks from the 14th, so it's really the 28th. There'll be a board certification of results. That's where the board will certify the results of the member vote. That's when we will find out which of these lovely people in the back here joined the board. And anybody that was running, we'll find out who made it in those, is it 2 spots or 3? It's 2 spots.
2 open spots plus an incumbent.
Plus an incumbent, okay, right. And then the secretary documents the vote in the AMM minutes, including vote counts and exact language. Now, on October 7th, there will be post-certification actions. And this is important. And the reason why we're really outlining and documenting all this is because this is where some of the stuff has fallen through the cracks in recent years, which is why people are like, how come this isn't in the AMM minutes? And it's like, these things were falling through the cracks. So the secretary will update and finalize all governance documents. They will submit ratified articles to the Arkansas Secretary of State if there are amendments to that. And then we will archive the final versions of articles, bylaws, and AMM minutes in both paper and digital formats. The board has a storage place in the front office there, which we have access to. Well, Marley has access to, I have access to, I have access to Marley to get in there if we need to put something in there, and as does Nick. And so we will make sure that information's in there, and we've also archived it in digital format as well. And in the digital format, whatever we have will also be uploaded to the main co-op website so that anybody can see it and read it to their heart's content. So, and the goal of all of this is that this will strengthen our governance framework. This will help clarify, if we come to this, our compensation structure, and support better transparency with member owners. And so we are going to go through this process as a board collectively. And as we continue down this line, we'll report back to everyone that's in this meeting on July 22nd, what we've come up with at that point and what we're voting on, and then we will continue from there. So everybody's gonna know what's happening and what's going on. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. You have a question?
The July 9th, would we see some language on the compensation at that point?
Oh, yeah, you're gonna see, I'm gonna send everything to you. I just didn't want to, I wanted to go over the gate. This is what we wanted to do. And then Casey thought it would be best to just kind of give it to you after that, once we've kind of talked about, this is what we're trying to do. And then, because the whole goal is I really want everybody to take a look at it. You guys are gonna get it like before the end of this week and start looking at it. We have time, we've got a holiday coming up, and then we can all come back together, we can talk about this, and everybody can say, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I mean, you know, with the bylaws, it's not so much, it's not black and white, it's like, I mean, is this what it is, or if it isn't? And so so we're still going through to do all of that. So the bylaws are a little bit different. The thing that we'll really have to kind of agree on or talk about is the compensation. And that's just basically because we already have compensation set up, but we just we want to be better, we want to be more transparent with it and set it up in a way that everybody knows exactly, this is what the, you know, the board members get outside of the board discussion, so.
And remember, was there a stipend in 24, or was that just 23?
So, it was, yeah, because I didn't want to correct Pat, but we haven't gotten a stipend since 23, which was the first stipend that we got after we passed the most recent change to the director compensation.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a stipend last year, and we haven't gotten a stipend this year, so.
And that stipend was only
Excess.
from
It was,
excess
yeah,
of the budget.
and
It wasn't
that's-
really planned as this unused. Hey, there's unused.
It's part of the reason why we're having this conversation in the first place is because it was like, well, if there's residual money left over, let's just throw money at the board members. And so we're trying to codify that now.
Which isn't great.
So that hopefully we can professionalize it a little bit more, come up with a better system that's transparent and acknowledges the work that and time that people put in. Because that's the reality. People don't see the amount of time and effort that board members put in behind the scenes. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where we are. And the goal is to have all of that done and have all of that out. But yes, all of you guys will be getting these documents probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, if not sooner. So yeah, so everything is kind of ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's just one. That was the discussion. Does anybody else have any questions? Jacob, Kim, you have any questions?
Seems like a good plan.
Nope, all good. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And not to add to it, but I'm going to add to it. I'm also going to give you some stuff to think about with regard to the financial committee charter, so that we can, because we might as well, we can walk and chew gum, so we might as well get this done and knocked out. So I'd like you guys to be looking at that, and then we can kind of talk about what we need to take away from this. But so I'm going to be sharing with you 3 examples of chartered financial committees at other co-ops similar to ours, and then I'm going to and then I'm going to also give you just a first crack at what a charter might look like for us. And then we can talk about what do we want, how do we want, and then kind of go from there.
I like it.
Yeah,
Can we get the July 9th on the calendar?
it is on calendar. He put Joshua up there.
He invited it.
I got the invite. Because I just got the invite yesterday.
I won't be able to be there.
Huh?
I'll be in the air.
Huh?
I'll be in the air.
Well, we're gonna record it, so I'd like you to listen to
Oh, yeah.
it afterwards.
Although I'm
You
sorry.
will record it and make sure that you have that.
I'm not saying on the board, so.
Yeah, I'll make sure everything's
But
on there, but I got an update, I just got a reminder about it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, I mean, because expanding the group. I just wanted to make sure that it was.
Actually, the ninth will still be over there.
That was that, yeah,
6 hours
right.
difference.
That was for the board members to all come to the policy committee meeting on the 9th. And the only outside person they invited was KC.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You were not on it.
What the?
I know. You're included.
Okay, well, please, can we fix that for him?
It's done.
So, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, did you guys have a chance to read C2 and C3? What? Did you guys have a chance to read C2 and C3?
Yeah.
We did talk about that, accountability to the GM and delegation to the GM at the policy meeting. And there are some things in there that we thought we wanted to change, but that's kind of about it. And I think Joshua was working on that. That's the only other thing to do. Okay. So, so there's no, I don't think it merits us reading those two. We're just gonna continue to work on those and get them refreshed. So, meeting decisions and assignments. We, let's see, let's come through. We approved the minutes from May 27, 2025, 7-2 with 7 ayes and 2 absent. We also voted on B6, management continuity, 7 ayes, 2 absent. Let's see, and then, was there anything else assignment-wise to report? No, I don't think so. Just what you guys are gonna get from me in the next 24 to 48 hours with regard to articles, bylaws, and board compensation planning, the documentation that you're gonna need to read. And I'd really like everybody to come on the 9th, ready to go. If you have questions, put them down, let's go through them. But what might be helpful too is if you do have questions, what I may ask you guys to do is to put all your questions down even beforehand.
Yeah.
So that way I can give KC a chance to take a look at that. And then that way she can really come prepared to answer anything that you throw out there from that perspective. And then we can still have a dialogue and discourse on that call. So we'll definitely pull that together and have that. So, but I think that's pretty much about it. Agenda items for July 22nd, 2025. And we'll just have another further conversation about AMM planning. So I guess if you guys wanna, if Alicia, if you got something to add for AMM on the 22nd, by virtue of what you guys are doing from the operations side, that would be great. And then Ken, whatever you have to offer, that would be cool too. Vote on articles and bylaws for presentation to members. And again, the goal with the articles and bylaws piece is really to have a unanimous vote. We all have to be in agreement on this. The board compensation is a little different. So, but I'm hoping everything prevails, but we'll see. But we'll vote on the board compensation language for presentation to members. And I may even add in here, if we have a charter that we like, because that's in the purview of the board, then that's something that we can discuss officially voting on now. Or we can vote on it in August, and just as long as we have something in place for the end of Q3, we can get things going. And then board education, I don't know what that's gonna be, but Dennis will let us know, and we will update that.
Yep.
And then our calendar monitoring schedule for July is B3. So this report that Dennis did for us this month, where the focus was B6, the focus will be B3, our financial condition, as well as we'll review D4 about board meetings. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So time for meeting evaluations and adjournments. Ken, I'll start with you.
I appreciated Michael tonight, and because we've had a lot of nonprofits sort of like telling a story conversation, I wanted to note that I appreciated the different perspective. It felt like 15 minutes of consulting, is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
And so I really like that approach. So I think that's a really good thought. I do appreciate this financial breakdown, or the way that you organize this report to be specific to the policies too. So otherwise, looking good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there was a lot this meeting that, like, on many topics, that was kind of a lot to digest, but I appreciate your feedback too, and some things I didn't think of. I haven't been thinking about board term limits, so it's something to think about too. Yeah, it's always good to get everybody's kind of perspective around things.
I like this. This is awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
I had a kind of initial comment too, if that's okay, like more than 30 seconds. I just wanted to plant in the board members' heads that we have, just a couple more meetings after this one. Like at the end of this season, we'll have 2 people gone that have roles within our board, vice president and committee chair. Starting next year, can't be the committee chair because he'll be in perpetuation. I'm just putting in people's heads that whenever like the first year that I started, it's like all of a sudden we're like trying to figure out who's doing what because it's a democratic thing. We nominate, we vote on, we all agree on who's going to be doing what, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. So I really wanted to like put in people's heads, like if you want to start thinking about like what are you willing to do, what are you not willing to do, what would be good for you to push yourself a little bit more. I mean, you people included. I mean, if you want to lead a chair or lead a committee, go for it. I mean, Canaan did it right out of the gate. If it's something that you really care about, ask questions now so that you feel more prepared to. I mean, it's just a matter of being the person that talks to the meeting. It's not a big deal. But there's more to it. I just meant. Sorry, that's not a good minute. Sorry. Whatever. So I just wanted to throw it out there. I'm thinking about it too, but it's just I just wanted to add that comment. Did appreciate Michael. What was his name? Michael. Appreciated that. Thanks for the report, guys from CCMA. Such a blast going there. So I'm glad you guys got to go. Thanks Dennis and T for everything. We definitely enjoy it. Wanted to shout out to Trent, who was here earlier. He was helping us find a product that me and my wife were loving, and he got it here right when he said he was going to, and then I couldn't find it, and that was my own fault. He's like, no, dude, it's right there. And I said, oh, okay. So huge shout out to him. He was super patient with my oversight, and he gave me a call today. So just wanted to give a shout out to him.
Thanks for that, Aaron. Can I go back real quick? And I suggest that we do something with Danielle and Denny as like a send-off /
You already got that covered.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. Got that, yeah. We're not gonna let these guys leave, but
I'm hoping.
so, yeah. Or you still want that brown or red Subaru?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. No, that was good.
Yes, yeah, you hate your time, that's for sure. Are you good, Nick?
I'm good, thank you.
Great meeting. I appreciate this forum. It's honestly kind of what I'm used to, so, creature of habit, yeah. And, having Michael talk today, just talking about Green Sports Initiative is really interesting. And it's good to see there are companies out there that are really trying to make a difference in the sports arena. Loved hearing y'all's CCMA report and the insight there. And yeah, I'm excited all the bylaw stuff. It's just a lot, so.
So you get out of here?
No, I was gonna say, I'm excited to continue working on the bylaw stuff. I'm excited, I don't know.
That's the word, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm eager to get that in order. Yeah. So thank you for taking the lead on that. Yeah.
Don't thank me yet, it's not done, listen, it is not done, there are documents that, listen, the documents have documents, so it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. When you think about an organization that's been around for 54 years, it's a lot, it's a big paper trail, it's crazy, so, but we're gonna do better, and I will say to you guys, whether you get elected or not, or if you run another time or whatever, our goal is to continue, we're taking that Kaizen approach here to just continuous improvement. So what Megan, Kim, and Jacob experienced when they came on board will not be what you experience when you come on board. And that is a promise that we're going to continue to improve it so that the experience and,
It wasn't that bad,
bringing,
come on.
it wasn't that, but bringing you up to speed in a way where you feel fully engaged, because honestly, for full transparency,
Just like people
I
figure it
felt like
out.
I was thrown into the water, just, without a bathing suit on when I first joined the board. But I have been on other boards, and so the thing that we always need to be cognizant of is that just because people do one thing one way doesn't mean that that's the right way. There's always other ways to do it, and so we just want to make sure that we're giving everybody the tools they need to be successful in this role, right? Because why come if you're not going to be successful? So that's what we're going to continue to work on and improve. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to try to be that, however long that lasts. So we'll see. All right. I've said enough. So do you want to?
Yeah, no, I would just say these three member owners,
And I'll get Kim.
these three member owners in the room, Diane, Barbara, and Pat, wow. I mean, that doesn't show you commitment to what we're doing here. So I really appreciate you three a lot, so you know that. For the three others that are here, candidates, boy, that shows your commitment to the co-op, listening to all that. So I'm excited for your candidacy. I just want to let you know, whatever I can do to answer any of your questions. But I'm really proud of you sitting in this meeting, because you guys were paying attention. You didn't fall asleep, so good. And I just think this is one of our best meetings. We got a lot of things going on, and we talk about it all the time. You gotta adapt to change. And I just like the vibe tonight. I just appreciate, Randy, what you did, what you said, because the entire staff will repeat what you said tonight. And just remember, retail is hard. This ain't fun right now. And it's gonna be fun next month. Talk about the financial condition. So you're gonna see a different type of report. So it's just exciting. Good job on this staff.
Yes, good job, Kim?
I appreciate planting the seeds of change. It seems like between the adjustments we're making with bylaws as well as the finances, it feels in alignment, like they're both creating a more stable foundation for us to continue to build from. And I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, all right. Well, if there is nothing else, if all minds are clear, then we'll call this meeting to adjournment. And thank you guys all for joining us tonight. And that is it. We are out, and then we've got a quick executive session. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's fine. Kim, I'll call you right back, okay?
You want me to end this one?
Yeah, I'll call you back on your phone.